everybody, so we're going to do the guided notes over mot de, so where we talked about houses, apartments, and different rooms you can find in your house. So as always, we're going to have blue be our pronunciation guide, we're going to have orange be our translation into English, and I'm going to have purple be our example sentences. So our first word in mot de is une maison. Maison, une maison, and this means house. So an example sentence we might write would be la maison a 10 pièces. So the house has 10 rooms. So now the next few things are going to take us down the list. We're going to go outside of a house. So our first thing out that you may find outside of your house is un jardin. And this is somewhat of a cognate. It looks a lot like an English word you might know. Jardin. Jardin. Un jardin. It's a garden. You might say, nous avons un bel jardin. We have a beautiful garden. Outside your house, you might also find un arbre. Un arbre. And that's a tree. So I might say, il y a un grand arbre. There is a big or a tall tree. In your jardin, you might also find une fleur. Une fleur. So une fleur, this is another cognate. It's not a perfect cognate, but it looks familiar. Une fleur is a flower. So you might say, j'adore les fleurs. I like the flowers. Our next word is garage. This is another awesome cognate. Garage. So garage, I'm sure you've guessed it, means garage. So un garage, you could say, ma maison n'a pas de garage. My house does not have a garage. Our next word, voiture. Voiture. So this is what would go inside of your garage. Your voiture, which is a car. So you might say, la voiture est dans le garage. So the car is in the garage. Let me see if that thing that way helps. There we go. We got some good light here. Our next word, terrasse. Une terrasse. So terrasse. une terrasse. So this kind of like looks like the word terrace, but in English this is a patio. So pay close attention to this kind of faux amis, because we wouldn't really use the word terrace the same way we use patio. So you might say, notre maison a une terrasse. Our house has a patio. There we go. We can see a little bit more now. So we have une vue. And yes, this sounds just like the pronoun V-O-U-S, vous. So une vue. So when you have V-O-U-S, that's your pronoun that's saying you, like a group of people, where une vue, here, where it's a noun, this is a view. So I might say, le balcon a une vue. So the balcony has a view. You could say une vue du jardin, a view of the garden. You could say une vue de Tour Eiffel, a view of the Eiffel Tower. So you can have a view in just general, or you can have a view de or of something. Our next word is immeuble. 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 Un immeuble. So un immeuble, that is a building. So I might say, we've got the L apostrophe because that starts with our vowel. L'immeuble est assez grand. So the building is somewhat tall. The last one we can see in our view right now is the word balcon, which we used in this example sentence here. So c'est un balcon, it's masculine. Un balcon. You can hear that it's not ca, it's got that French sound to the end of it where it's a little bit nasal. Balcon. C'est un balcon. C'est un balcony. So this chapter has a lot of really fantastic cognates for us. I might say l'appartement a un balcon. The apartment has a balcony. Très bien. So now we're going to scroll down to the next set of things. See what the last four on this page are. Here, the last four on that page, we have un appartement. This has a ton of syllables in it. Appartement. Appartement. And it's another cognate. It's not spelled exactly the way it is in English. It's a part. So you have the extra P in there. And an extra E as well. So you might say, nous avons un appartement. And so you can actually hear that liaison I was doing. Nous avons un appartement. So that N kind of travels over. Next we have un quartier. 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 So this is a neighborhood. So you might say, il habite un vieux quartier. We saw this word quartier when we talked about le quartier latin, the Latin quartier, the Latin neighborhood where there are a lot of students, either Sorbonne in Paris. But what this means is he lives in an old neighborhood, so an old neighborhood. Our last two, we have une station de métro, une station de, you know how to say de, this is métro, and that's a really long one too. Une station de métro, so that accent makes the E sound like the letter A, so that says métro. So this is a subway station. So you might say, le appartement est près d'une station de métro. And this is a little bit of a long sentence, so we're going to hope that this next one is kind of short. So the apartment is close, près d'une, close to a subway station. And our very last word on this sheet is un code. It's pronounced not code, with that long O sound, it's code. It's almost like the word cod for a fish, but you say it like a French person. Code. So un code, that's like the code you use to get into a building. And that's exactly what we're going to use for our example sentence is le meuble a un code. So the building has a code, so there's a code to get into the building. We're going to head to our next page. So next, this word might be familiar to you. You've probably seen this word before. In English, we call this voisine. So this is a common last name in areas that are francophone, like in our area of Maine. I actually went to school with some people with this last name, which is kind of cool when you know what it means. And when you pronounce this in French, it's not voisine, it's voisine. So une voisine is a neighbor, that's a woman. So this is une femme, and then right underneath it is un voisin. Voisin. And again, it's a neighbor. That's a man. Alright, so we can use these in a sentence, and we could say, ma voisine n'est pas sympa. My neighbor is not nice. Oh, and that's a little unfocused. There we go. So ma voisine n'est pas sympa. She is not nice. You're going to talk about your male neighbor. You could say, mon voisin et il est très sympa. He is very nice. So again, we're seeing the difference between my for a feminine thing versus mon, my for a masculine thing, which we'll talk more about when we get into possessive adjectives. So now we're going to talk about a little bit more about the things you might find at an appartement. So we have une cour. At a nice apartment, you might have une cour. We've seen this word before.